words had to be said. Now, here we go, 2x2, and it's Ferrari and Porsche side by side, both front row and second row. Should be a cracking start. Let's see what happens as they line themselves up to get ready for our International GT Race 2.
Look at that. That is a good show, International GT. Packed up bunch for the start. I wish we learned that in all of our groups. Nice job.
Yeah, really nice, especially the front 3 rows. They are ready to go. But it's a long way down that front straight. And away they go. Good start from the 42 of Tom Pank. He got away really well. And Pank could have a chance of taking the corner, but the line is definitely with the Ferrari.
Look at David Tuati, though, ahead of Benoit Bergeron. Tom Pank's going to take the long way around Andy Pilgrim, but if he can get out ahead of Andy Pilgrim, it's going to be a long road for Andy Pilgrim, and Tom doesn't quite have it, but David Tuati got a great start.
On board with Pank now in second place as he sees the Ferrari in his sights through NASCAR. Great onboard shot from Tom Pank. Good clean start, Ben.
Really good start. Really impressed with David Tuati there in third, followed by Benoit Bergeron, and I can't tell, but that looks like maybe Lucas Pank right behind Benoit Bergeron. And Lucas, a couple of years ago, did get the best of his dad, Tom Pank, here at VIR.
Yeah, Lucas has come on over the season for sure. 3 Panks is there?
Yeah, but the other son isn't here this weekend.
Okay.
But look at this huge field. Porsches. There's Mark Matisse there with the headlights on. We've got a BMW out there from the WRL series, but Andy Pilgrim looks like those tires are coming to him. He's going to be tough to get here. Now this corner, what we call the oak tree, because there was an oak tree right there. It's all about getting good speed off the corner, putting the power down, and right now it looks like Andy Pilgrim has this dialed in. He is just one of those really good, experienced race car drivers, very famous race car driver, and he knows how to wheel around a Ferrari at Virginia International Raceway.
By the way, any environmentalists out there, the oak tree had a good and long life of several hundred years before it basically lost its way, and a new one has been planted, I may add. So very
the son of oak tree, but the oak tree survived the Civil War and just fell down, I believe, in 2013 or 2014, unfortunately. There's Bob Weisen right there, second runner-up in a really crazy points battle in the 2020 Mission Foods GT Cup Trophy Championship in that number 27 Porsche. And look at that, Lucas Pank turning on, and there's Ted Giovannis. Is that Ted Giovannis or Hugh Plum? I got to look at the scoring. Well, I don't know who's in the car. It's either Ted Giovannis or Hugh Plum. I'll know if we get the in-car from that because I can tell their helmets, but Ted Giovannis or Hugh Plum is really turning it on as Tom Pank is still in the sights of David Tuati, and then Benoit Bergeron's wanting to get around. Now watch that red Ferrari behind that white Porsche there on that right-hander going through the snake. Look for Benoit to try to get something here going up these uphill S's, one of the famous parts of VIR. So that's Tom Pank followed by David Tuati, then Benoit Bergeron in that Ferrari.
Yeah, they don't have long to get it done here. Just a 9-lap race, and so it's a really all-out sprint with these guys. And actually, the cars will be trimmed perfectly, not needing a full load of fuel. You can get by on 9 laps pretty well. But that was a good exit by the 127. Somebody's parked up. It's the 56, and that's Nicholas Grumbridge. Whichever you prefer, but he's able to keep it going anyway, and it doesn't look as though he's got any damage to it. So I think he just slid off.
Yeah.
Where is that?
I don't know. His fuel door was a little bit open. That's not his fuel door, I don't think. As we look down what we call the back straight to the roller coaster, and look at this roller coaster right here. Tom Pank, David Tuati, Benoit Bergeron.
Great racing.
So we've got Maryland, Miami, and Canada. Look for Bergeron to duck out here. He's in the draft. Then there's Lucas Pank coming into sight. There's our starter, Steve, up there in the stand. Tuati looking inside of Pank.
This is incredible. 5 seconds already Pilgrim has built. We go back on board with Pank into the horseshoe and out. And that's what it's like to be in second place. Going through NASCAR, holding off 2 very fast cars and trying to catch the fastest car on track, which is gone already through the snake. That's some 5 seconds up the road now, Andy Pilgrim. What a start he's made. He just did a 150.0 compared to 53 from those chasing him.
Yeah, that is a seasoned veteran professional race car driver taking care of his equipment and doing a really good job in this race right here for second, third, and fourth overall. And Lucas Pank is making some time on this group here.
Yep, doing a good job.
So David Tuati is in a 4-liter Porsche. You can see that on the front right of his windshield. And then there's Benoit Bergeron. Ferrari 458, but not a Ferrari Challenge car. That's a 458 GT. Tom Pank coming up the hill. It goes over this crest here. The car is going to get a little bit light. Then it goes down into this valley. And then their brake zone is an uphill, hard blind left to the entrance of the roller coaster.
Yeah, that is a tough braking zone, that, because if you get that wrong, you really can't get into here.
That's
Whoa,
not
Pank!
where you want to get up behind lap traffic either.
No. Well, that was the 56 that just got back on track, and that was not a nice place to meet him, but he had no choice because he's got the 2 cars behind him. Holmpen into the main straight again, but they've got past the slower car down the main straight. Let's have a look at the gap this time. It's 8 seconds now. Gosh, Pilgrim is making progress, as they say. Pilgrim's progress is good.
Ooh, Tuati likes that inside look, so look for him to make something like that happen late in the race. He's forcing Thomas Pank outside, but then Thomas has the inside for the next set of corners. And that corner there, turn 1, is more than 180 degrees total.
Yep.
It's like a hairpin, a long hairpin
Yeah,
shape
it's a good
thing.
way of describing it, because it doesn't look like it, but it is actually, isn't it?
That's the tough part of the track there. I don't like that corner there or turn 10. They go up these uphill S's, and then it's like almost flat out through turn 10, and basically who has the cojones to haul it through there. Watch them go up. They're going to get real light after this corner here. Right there, it gets real light. The car falls out from under them. They lose a little bit of traction. They come up the hill to this hard left-hander at turn 10. That's where a lot of people get it wrong.
Yeah, that does look like a really tough corner, because it tempts you to be faster than you should.
Lucas Pank here, just graduated with his engineer's degree, I think from Virginia
Smart
Tech.
move.
Out here with his dad Tom and doing really well. He flipped it in our last race there at Watkins Glen, and
he's
that
got
is
damage
the
to the
car.
back of the car.
Yeah, that is the car. It's got dimples on the roof of it like a golf ball, and he thinks the dimples make him faster. We're going to ask Ken Fangler, who knows a little bit more about this Porsche engineering, but Lucas Pank is really looking
Good to see
fast.
Ken not in race control.
Yeah, exactly. I figured I'd wait a few laps before I came up here. Maybe I jinxed it last time, so.
But look at this race for the second, third, and fourth overall.
Yes.
What do you think Tuati has here coming into turn 1? He keeps ducking to the inside of Pank, but Pank should have a little bit more in his car than Tuati. What's happening here?
David's a very good driver. New car, fresh car to him. You know, he had the learning curve a little bit at Watkins Glen, but he was ramped up. He won overall in the Enduro on Sunday at Watkins Glen. He's definitely got it figured out. And even as Tom was planning his attack on Andy Pilgrim, knowing that only if he could get by him in the beginning could he hold him up, he said, the next breath he said, but I'm really worried about how close Tuati is to me.
Yeah.
And it's playing out here in this race. Great racing amongst the 3 cars.
And do we know, is it Hugh Plum or is it Giovannis and Ted Giovannis' car?
Ted's in the car.
Okay, great. Yeah.
Ted, the author of Beyond Fear, How I Fought the Feds for 6 Years and Won. Do we have in-car with Ted on this race? Do you know?
I haven't seen it yet. We've seen it in-car with Tom, but I can't wait to read the book. Knowing Ted a little bit about him, that's going to be a really interesting book.
Oh, there we go.
That's Tom Pank.
That's Tom.
Tom, okay.
Yeah, he's leading this group through.
This is turn 10 here, and this is that tricky corner you mentioned. I can see why. When you go on board, you can see it drops off, doesn't it, on the exit? Explain
the difference between Andy Pilgrim and Benoit Bergeron's Ferraris than a Ferrari Challenge car.
Nothing really. Benoit has a 458 Challenge, all right, which he had won the championship in. He has 2 cars, and he went and bought this GT3 car. Very rare, and now I've heard the market has really stepped up on these cars. And Andy's in a GT3 car, and so is Ben. So they're identical cars, as far as what that goes.
Nice. Well, here they come down the roller coaster, a really treacherous part of the track. That's Tom Pank ahead there. This is the fight for second, third, and fourth. Andy Pilgrim has just taken off, which is what he's the best at. But Tom Pank is really going to fight really hard to keep Tuwadi behind him. And
Finally get some international GT racing as we hoped for.
Here he comes, looking inside there again. It's David Tuwadi on Tom Pank. And there's Lucas Pank, but follow behind Lucas, I think it's Ted Giovannis. There he is. He's got the headlights on. Beautiful TGM colors there. And of course, Ted Giovannis and Hugh Plum race in other series. And they love racing in International GT because it gives them track time on where they can race on their other series. Here's our in-car.
There you go.
Yep. Here's our in-car with Ted.
I like that when you see the driver over the wheel. Ah, no, somebody's gone
Looks like
off.
that's Geronimo.
No, that's Geronimo's not here. That is that's the Navy car, number 76, spun off there.
Commentator's curse, because I've been talking about
Geronimo
treacherous.
isn't here. Didn't get his car fixed from Watkins Glen. Okay.
So here they come up. There should be a yellow flag there. Tom can't make this pass. It's a yellow flag, and did he see it? I don't know. We're going to have to look at that.
Yeah, that's Nicholas Carangellin in the 76 car who's off there.
At turn 10, we were talking about a lot of guys go off to the right, drivers right at turn 10, try to overcorrect it, and then they end up spinning to the inside, and that might have been what happened there.
Well, the lucky news is that he didn't hit anything.
Yes.
That's the good news. I saw the 122 car off, new customer with us, down in one, and a big cloud of dust as he went off in one. Fortunately, most.
Here we go. Looks like, goes a little bit wide, and just loops
tries to tighten it in a little bit. Yeah, he
not bad.
Could have unwound the wheel a little more there, but that's okay. He lived to tell about it another day. So.
Yeah, that's a gentle spin.
But it got his attention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great replay there from Green Light. But here we go, back to this battle up front. And when I say up front, Andy Pilgrim has a very good lead, but Tuwadi now, first time we see him duck out to the left.
Yeah.
Maybe he was playing chicken with Tom Pank, kind of faking his move.
It's all going to happen at the horseshoe. As we go back on board with Pank, he's still ahead.
Yeah.
Just. As they come down to NASCAR again. 7 of the 9 done into NASCAR. Second place, Tom Pank, holding off these two as he has done now for, what, 5 laps? Meanwhile, Andy Pilgrim leading this race and almost checking out so far.
Benoit just got, is that right-hander, just got right behind Tuwadi. Wasn't expecting him to be that hard on the brakes, I think. Almost a little contact there. Good job avoiding that. But here they come up, the uphill S's. Like we said, they get real light here. Great shots of Benoit Bergeron and his NetJets red Ferrari. So glad to have Benoit and his crew back here with us. They just add so much fun to the paddock and the camaraderie, and it's good to see him back.
Yeah, the international flavor, so to speak, out of Canada. We have many from Latin America. We
Mexico.
Yes,
got Juan Gonzalez. Yeah.
Right. Alejandro Chitron from Argentina.
Yeah.
Is with us this weekend in the 122 car.
There's Ted Giovannis there.
Yep.
So Ken, I saw you talking to a potential signee earlier in the weekend. You were like, yeah, just sign up here and go to the website. And I was like, yeah, he's bringing them in.
We've had interest. There's a couple of new people that have been watching the series and so forth and have interest in it. And so anyway, we do welcome them, and hopefully find a home to race in. Maybe it's with us. I said attitude, altitude, and good skills, or learning, or willing to learn skill set is what they bring here.
I like it. Yeah. Great to have these onboard shots because you can really see when you see the V-Box coverage, where the throttle is on, where it's off, where the braking is, where the zones are. Really, really illustrative of what's going on inside. And of course, from above, you can also see who does the best braking. Looks Ferrari was doing a good job there.
Benoit's out handling Tuwadi right now.
Yeah, the car might have come more into its own. The tires might be better at this point, A number of guys, and Andy was talking about it, we had a drivers meeting after the first race, just to kind of reorganize.
The paddock has heard.
And but the idea being, and everybody gets it, but every once in a while they need to hear it and be reminded. But one of the things is that, in these first few laps, how critical is, we have guys who use tire warmers and guys who don't. We allow them. And tomorrow morning's Enduro, I'm requesting 2 pace laps. It's going to be cold, 50 degrees.
Yeah.
And, if you're not using tire warmers on this track and it's cool, it's a noticeable difference for cars that are not in the first few laps. Andy was saying it took his car at least three laps to really get hooked up. He said in the beginning he's just hanging on. He said, I'm not trying to block. He said, I'm just driving the car as best as I can at that point.
So into roller coaster goes Pang, coming down to the white flag after this.
Oh, we got word from Caffeine here at YouTube, and he or she is right. The oak tree didn't just fall down, it did get struck by lightning. And then when they were uncovering it and digging it, they found a well under the oak tree that kind of hurt its roots a little bit. Yeah. Billy was telling me about that.
Was Timmy in the well?
He was, yeah.
I thought it was the Fountain of Youth. I thought, really, I've been drinking from it, and it hasn't helped one bit.
No.
Okay, so starter Steve has given the LL sign for final lap, and now these guys have spread out a little bit. Let's see what Benoit can do here in that red Ferrari. Uh-oh. Looks like somebody high-centered there, maybe, or stuck on the...
He's going now.
No. Let's let the field go by so we can finish this under green.
Yes.
Is that Roland Veet there?
No, that's
Andy. That's our leader, Andy Pilgrim there. So Andy Pilgrim coming up on lap traffic, and I'm sure his team is telling him that he's got a big lead, so he's not going to probably force any issues here.
No.
One of the most trustworthy drivers in any field right there, Andy Pilgrim in that red Ferrari. And I always known Andy Pilgrim as that Cadillac driver, but what else was he famous for racing in?
You know, Andy's run Le Mans. He's been an international driver for years. He was with the Corvette program for a short bit before moving over to Cadillac. And you know, his probably best success was with the GM driver, but like a lot of drivers, you know, has a storied history from, you know, sports cars, single seaters, and all that. There isn't anything they won't drive. And when you get to this level, and Andy is one of those, a journeyman of professional level, and that's what they need to be ready at the call. And I think this is just fun for Andy. I know it is. We talk about it, and I'm glad to have him. You know, he adds a bit of credibility certainly to the series, and you know, it's great to have that beautifully prepared Ferrari, and gives a rabbit. That's right. So looks like we got the checkered flag out.
There it is. Checkered flag is out for IGT Race 2. Andy Pilgrim won it by country mile. He's already back at Watkins Glen, ready for the next race. But good race for second place, won by effectively Tom Pang for second place overall. And David Flash taking third ahead of Benoit.
Jonathan, I don't know if you do. I want to thank you because, you know, bringing me up here in the booth has elevated my status to actual celebrity, and I've started a fan club, and it's unbelievable because they're actually probably listening now. So my grandchildren, Riley, Colby, and Austin, say Grandpa's on TV. So there's my new fan club right there.
I love it.
So thank you for the opportunity to create this fan club.
Ken, you are welcome, and you are a celebrity, don't you? Don't you? It doesn't just mean that you're great. Now they're the generation that will build that fan club.
Yeah.
They'll give you a TikTok and a Periscope and an Instagram.
Yeah, and I'll have no idea how to operate any of it. And it's why really I had children, is just to make my TV light up, because I'm an IT moron. Okay, just I don't even care what channel it's on. Just make it light up and make noise.
There you go. Well, our thanks to Ken Fengler, who of course puts on this great show of IGT Racing wherever we go, and there'll be more to come. But the championship continues to roll on, and just to check on the feature race 2 provisional results. Andy Pilgrim with a country mile win, as I said, over 10 seconds ahead of Tom Pang and David Tuati in third place. Benoit Bergeron taking fourth, Lucas Pang in fifth place. Yes, they are related, and that's young Lucas coming up the board to fifth place. Giovannis and Plum taking sixth. Miller Man taking seventh. That's Pipperman, if you were wondering. And Bill Riddle is 8th position, and David Kachori is in 9th. Robert Eisen in 10th. So that concludes our GT coverage. Coming up next, we'll have our TA and TA2.